The new Warframe dev stream just ended and we have so much to talk about. Not only a sneak peek at our next update, the Shadowgrapher, with the brand new Warframe FOLLIE, no, we will also get new Lich Weapons, a rework of the Lich system, tons of new deluxe skins, a rework of Vauban, which I totally didn't see coming, Android release, finally, and it's actually pretty soon, Switch 2 updates, and so much more. So as always, after a huge shout out to all our generous channel members, lean back and listen to over-caffeinated me yap on for half an hour or so. Let's get right into it. Alright, first things first, as with every year, also this year we will get the community usage stats for weapons and warframes across the last year. The most played Warframe in 2025 was, to absolutely nobody's surprise, Wukong is always very high up there. And when it comes to weapons, it's kind of sort of the same thing as in 2024, not much new here. And if you want, you can now go on the Warframe website, check everything out, and you also could see your personalized stats of what you use the most across 2025. I'm not 100% sure, but maybe I'm gonna make a short video about that topic next week. Moving on, in today's dev stream, we got information about quite some important dates for the first half of the year, and especially if you are a very invested fan of Warframe, then you don't want to miss those. First of all, for the upcoming January event in Australia, there will be a public merge store. Special thing here being, you do not need a Tenno VIP ticket to access this merge store, you can just go there and pick up your favorite stuff. If you're living down under and you didn't get a ticket, but you do want to buy merge without paying for shipping, then this is your call. Then, also this year, Warframe will be at the PAX East, there will be a live stream from PAX, there will be a Tenno VIP there, for which the ticket sale starts at February the 12th. If you are in Boston or around, then mark that in your calendar. Up next, the most important event of the year, Tennocon 2026. That's gonna happen July 10th to 11th, there will be a concert again, and very important, if you want to go to Tennocon, then the ticket sale is gonna start on February the 27th, my birthday actually, at 4 p.m. Eastern Time. If you want to get a Tennocon ticket, then mark that day and the time in your calendar. I'm not exaggerating here, I think last year the tickets sold out within the first minute. Like, you need to be on point if you want to score one of those tickets. Also, right here in the background, I'm quickly going to show you the ticket tiers again, which are available. The legendary ticket, there are only 2 of them available, so if you have too much money, make sure to write a macro or something to refresh the page or whatever. Wish you the best of luck. However, that was not it yet, because as a first time, Warframe will also go to Brazil. And if you are in Brazil and you want to attend that Tenno VIP party, then the ticket sale for this opens up on April the 2nd, so keep that one in mind as well. And as always, if you could leave a quick like for the video, that'd be super nice because, YouTube algorithm, we all know how it works. Cheers so much for your support. But with that being said, the housekeeping is done now. Let's finally talk about Warframe, shall we? Warframe topic number 1 for today would be the first deluxe skin. We'll have a lot of deluxe skins today, but the first one is Dagath Deluxe. That's right, Horse Lady gets a new skin. This right here in the background is it, and I think it looks pretty darn cool, especially the color patterns. I think there's a lot of good color schemes that we can fashion frame onto her. Dagath Deluxe is not going to come alone though, because together with her, you will also be able to get a new deluxe cave skin. This right here in the background is it, and I think this one is probably going to be the highlight for me. I never really dug the cave all that much, but I think this skin is very cool. And there's also a new ephemera, which is pretty cute, where there's a little horsey that's running next to you, plus some minor stuff like dojo decoration, floofs, and other things. Dagath Deluxe, if you're interested, is going to come on February the 11th. On top of that, we're also going to have the Star Days event for Valentine's again in February, coming with new glyphs that you see in the background right now, but there are also going to be these new frame glyphs type of things, and those are meant to be put on top of other glyphs if you display them on a wall or something, so that you have a nice frame around them. Pretty cool idea. On top of that, there's also, of course, going to be the Legacy Star Day stuff available, and if I recall it right, then they said it would start on February the 4th. Please correct me in the comments down below if I'm wrong here. Up next, let's talk about Android. I don't know how often I've talked about Android in these Devstream recaps, and each and every single time I was like, oh, well, right, they didn't give a release date yet, but they're making very good progress and it can't be that much longer. I think I've been saying that for 2 years or something. However, now we have a release date, and it is very, very soon. So if you want to play on your Android phone, then you can now do that in February. Warframe Android is finally going to release in February. It's a bit of a two-tier release, so to speak, because in Canada it goes live on February the 11th, and then globally for everybody else on February the 18th. So, dear Maple Leaves in the comments down below, you will be the lab rats. Blessings upon you. But no, jokes aside for a second. Once the Android release goes live, I'm pretty sure there's going to be a lot of people flooding the servers, and there will have to be hotfixes and day 1, 2, 3 patches. So, when it goes live, have a little bit of patience. It's probably going to take 1 or 2 weeks until the whole thing is going to run stable for everybody. No need to get worked up about it. And then they said there's also a little bonus when you pre-register. I hope I understood it right, but to me it seemed like they said when you pre-register in the Android store for the game, then you get like a pack with the Fullman for free and this ephemera in the background right now. I'm not 100% sure, please don't quote me on this. But one thing that I should say here is the Android release will be full, so it is fully cross-play, fully cross-save, fully integrated into the entire Warframe ecosystem, right? Once this thing is out, it's out. And I'm really excited for it. Not that I could play it with my old phone or anything. Anyway, let's move on. Oh, did we just talk about a handheld gaming experience? Well, let's talk about another one, Switch 2. For this one, we don't have a release date just yet, but they will give us the final release date in the February dev stream. But they did announce some pretty impressive features today, that being that the Warframe Switch 2 version will be running at 60 FPS 1080p both in the docked and in the handheld version, so no lags whatsoever. I think that is pretty impressive. And they also said, and I wrote this down word by word because I have no idea what it means, Joy-Con 2 mouse support. I assume this means you can play it with a mouse even on Switch 2. But hey, I'm an old man, I don't own a Switch 2, I don't know what Joy-Con 2 mouse support really means. If I'm wrong, please correct me in the comments down below. But now let's get into the nitty-gritty. Let's talk a little bit about Vauban. First of all, Vauban is gonna get an heirloom skin. And don't worry, we're not just gonna talk about visuals here, we're also gonna go over the Vauban rework that they announced today. But yeah, speaking about the heirloom skin, this right here is it, and I personally think it's really, really cool. I'm looking forward to testing him out with this. The special thing about Vauban Heirloom is that he comes with this cool Cyberpunk 2077-like puffer jacket thing, but you can modify this. For example, you can take the sleeves off and then you have a cool vest. Or if you want to go full flex, then you can also play him topless. The choice is yours. On top of that, there's also going to be a Signa coming with it. This right here in the background is how it looks, which I think is a very, very good fit here. And overall, even though Vauban already has pretty cool cosmetics available, this thing is absolutely amazing. Let me know what you think about it in the comments down below. However, and I totally didn't see that coming, but they decided to give Vauban a little touch-up, which turned into a full-blown rework, which is a big freaking buff for the man at the same time. Now, I want to be 100% honest with you here. I haven't played Vauban in quite a while. He's very high on my to-do list for this year. So I'm going to give it away to the man himself, Pablo.
So yeah, we have a few changes for him. But for his one, mostly we changed the way the behavior of the grenades work. Right now they clump too much. So now they spread out a little more so that they can, oh, I almost destroyed them. So they can crowd control more enemies. We made the status scale with strength. We made it more visible because they're very easy to get lost when you're in the middle of combat. So we made them like they have like a little trail and they mark enemies. Also, if you have the augment, they put a mark on the enemy that has it so that you know who to shoot. For his 2, we did the most radical change. If you look in the lower right, there no longer is a selector for your mines.
Mine layer is now mine laid.
Okay. So it used to be 4 mines, and really people only used 1. So what we did is we grabbed 2 mines, put it into one, and 2 mines and put it into the other. So now Flechette, or the Flechette mine, is now combined with a tether one. So you can just draw it, it'll start dragging enemies in, and it'll start shooting them. And then for the other one, essentially, is the vector path. but now it gives you a little bit of extra speed after, because before it only bumped you and that was it. And it also, on top of that, gives you the overdrive, so you get the buff. We also had the FX team and the sound team made some changes so that it's a little more obvious when you're casting. For his third, we basically changed a few things. So now it does guaranteed blast status when it hits. We increased the range a little bit. We made so the augment now does 3 shots instead of 2. And we reduced the energy cost from 75 to 50. And finally, for Bastille, you'll never guess, we removed the enemy cap.
No way. Yes, I remember back in the day that was a very important thing to have, but we'll see how that holds up.
We changed the armor strip to be a little faster, the armor gain to be a little, the armor cap to be a little higher. Well, one thing we did the change, so it no longer has a cap on how many enemies it grabs, but we do have a cap on how many you can cast at once. And then we changed things like, for example, the armor strip didn't work on enemies that were vortexed, so now it works with that. And the augment got changed. It used to push enemies out of Bastille. Now it lets them in. Any enemy you kill inside Bastille extends the duration of Bastille by 2 seconds.
And nothing could possibly go wrong.
Whew, that was already quite a lot that we went into for this Devstream recap, but what if I told you that we haven't even started talking about the next big update for Warframe? That is gonna come in March. No fixed release date just yet, we're gonna probably get that in the February Devstream. But yeah, from historical records, I would say probably 2nd or 3rd week in March, probably on Wednesday, probably 11 AM Eastern time or something. That would be my personal guess. Please don't sue me if I'm right, okay? But with that being said, let's talk about the new Warframe update, which will go by the name the Shadowgrapher. First things first, this update will contain some quality of life changes, however, unfortunately, not only good ones. I'm gonna say it right out the gate, the wall running rework that they announced at Tennocon, they're unfortunately cancelling it. They say the programming part is too difficult to do and they decided to just not put wall running back into the game. For everybody who is really looking forward to that, that's probably sad news. Gotta admit, I personally myself, I barely ever run on a wall anyway, so I don't really care all that much. However, on the brighter side, they're gonna look into reworking the pull-up animation and pull-up mechanics, which I think is much more necessary actually, because, pulling yourself over edges, it doesn't really feel good in the game right now. It really halts you in your tracks. I don't like it. They didn't give any details, but I'm hoping that they come up with something very cool right here. The next quality of life point is for new players, and that is that the Awakening quest, the thing that starts when you first boot up the game, this will get yet another visual touch-up. You can see it in the background right here. They made some not so subtle lighting changes. I don't know what you think about it. Sure, it's gorgeous, but I think the light rays are a little bit too much in your face. Can we tone that down by 50% or so? But hey, I'm not gonna complain if the intro quest looks even nicer, maybe retaining a couple more players. They're also gonna shuffle around some assets and just change that starting level a little bit. Nothing major, just a visual touch-up. Then, the next main feature of the update would be new Lich Weapons and a rework of the Lich system. That's right, we're gonna get new Lich Weapons for Coda, Kuva, and Tenet at the same time. We're gonna get the Coda Bubonico, very good weapon, and I can't wait to test out the Coda variant of it. For the Kuva side of things, we're gonna get the Kuva Ghoul Saw. That thing looks intimidating, and they said that the AI-controlled Liches, they will also actively use that on you if you fight them, so, well, brace yourselves. And finally, on the Tenet side, we're gonna get the Tenet Quanta, where unfortunately they didn't show any in-game footage of it. They're gonna do that in the February dev stream. The biggest upside here though is that the relic system has significantly changed for the Kuva and the Tenet weapons, because where before you had all different kinds of things in these Requiem relics, and you had to get lucky to get the right mod out of it, now they're going to change it that instead of having Requiem relics 1, 2, 4, there's only going to be one Requiem relic, which is going to be called the Eterna relic, and in this relic there are only the Parazon mods, nothing else. Gonna make it much easier to farm those darn things. But they're not going to retire the Requiem 1 to 4 relics completely, but instead you'll now be able to buy them from Paladino for Riven Slivers, and they also say that they want to put some other things into the relics on top, so in case you like what's in there, you're still going to be able to buy them, you're still going to be able to crack them. On top of that, they also said that the damage percentage for the progenitor element that is generated whenever you get a Lich weapon, in the past, the damage percent was rolled in a way that it was supposed to be more on the lower end, but they said they removed that now, so whenever you get a Lich weapon, it's now going to be completely random how much extra damage percent you're going to get, meaning it's more likely to get closer to the maximum of 60%. I think that's pretty nice. Not that I've ever noticed that it's actually not completely random or anything, but hey, I'm not gonna complain, right? The next feature with the update will be more visual customization for Operator and Drifter. In specific, we're gonna get more head options, some of which you see in the background right now. And we also got to talk about Tennocon exclusive Syandanas, in specific the Riftguard Syandana, because they said that going forward, they will make it that there will be a visually altered version of the same Syandana available for purchase in the game forever. You can get that for Regalia, so it's cash only anyway. But just in case you missed the Tennocon pack and you really want to have like those Syandana cosmetics or whatever, they said that for the Riftguard and going forward, there will be a slightly changed version of the cosmetic available constantly. And what's best, for everybody who already bought the Tennocon pack, they get the altered version completely for free. But wait, there is even more. They said that for the Purida Rebellion, in the next update, there will be more tiles added to the tile set so that we have a more varied environment to play in. And they hinted at something where they said, well, if Steelpath Purida Rebellion is not difficult enough for you, then stay tuned, wink wink, which was a bit odd. It kind of sort of sounded like they were sort of announcing a super ultra Steelpath version or something. Maybe I'm reading too much into this, but hey, let's let them cook for now. Also, with the new update, there are going to be more titles available, a lot of new titles, so look forward to that. And this is very important, the devs right now are actively asking for feedback on the Tauron strikes. They are aware that there are a lot of people who are not happy with it, and I can kind of sort of see why. So if you have feedback on how the Tauron strikes could be reworked to make them nicer, then their inbox on that is now open, so to speak. But hey, we're still not done. Let's talk about even more deluxe skins coming. And right now we have two at the same time for one of our most dynamic duos, Grendel and Gauss. That's right, both of them are gonna get a deluxe skin. For Grendel, we only have the concept art yet, but this looks super cool. I'm very hyped about it. And for Gauss, we even saw him in-game. And let me tell you, the man looked good before, the man looks even better now. Like, holy cow, this is very cool, and I can't wait for those skins. Also here, we're gonna have the special Signa, we're gonna have Exceltra and Masseter Deluxe skins as well. And there is a super hilarious new emote, you can see it in the background right now, that's also gonna be coming, so yeah, not much more to add here. And now, before we end it for today, let's talk about the probably most anticipated part of the entire video, the brand new Warframe. That's right, with the March update, as with every quarterly update, of course, we're gonna get a new Warframe, and this time her name is gonna be Follie, and Follie is gonna be Painter-inspired. New update kinda looks a bit Expedition 33-like, not gonna lie, but here's what we know so far. The new game mode and everything related with that update will take place on the currently destroyed Vesper Relay. Follie will invite you to there, and then you walk into a painting and see a different version of the Vesper Relay. We didn't see anything of that on stream so far. We also didn't see gameplay or skills for Follie so far. That's also probably going to happen in the February dev stream. However, they did share Follie's idle animations, which you can now see in the background right here. Everything else remains to be seen in probably the next dev stream. Another massive shoutout to Niels V, Demon Lord Cell, Demon Emperor, Emperor Prime, Nostlenix Gaming, Turtlepeer, Underkanio2, Skylar Bowser, Mihawki, Socrates the Almighty Rat, Leo Morizaki, Shadow Lockhart, Herrn Tages, Patrocrator, Boomia1, Mr. Games Plays, Zave, Awendai, Zengen, Quax, and all other generous channel members for your continuous support. We see each other hopefully in the next one, and until then, as always, good loot.